Good morning, everybody. We have Paulette here with another Scrappy project. And this one is called
Roly Poly Hearts.
Roly Poly Hearts, being that Valentine's Day is coming. So anyway, she's got two different versions and they're just, this is like a peek into her sewing room. I love this. Okay, Paulette, take it away.
Good morning. Yes, Roly Poly Hearts. So I thought this particular heart design, which is just constructed like a log cabin, we'll go through that, is just a little bit chubby. So I called them Roly Poly Hearts. They're not...
Yeah, they are fat hearts, aren't they?
They are. They're just full of. So what I've done in this particular quilt is use two different fabrics. So one side is one fabric and the other is a different one. They're similar so that when you actually look back at the quilt, you can see the hearts nicely. But when you get up closer, you can see that there's two different fabrics that are in the block. So in the red and pink quilt, I've got red on one side of the heart and pink on the other side of
oh my gosh, think of the possibilities. Like you could do a baby quilt out of this.
You could.
With a print on the one side of the heart and then a plain on the other, right?
Sure, or any combination that you kind of think would be interesting. So the construction is really easy, and it's the sashing in between that actually makes you see the hearts, because the block itself, when you have it made, it looks like this. So it's
offset
like,
log cabin.
Where's the heart? You know, you're thinking, okay, but we're going to go through that. So these are 6-inch finished blocks. So they're little, but I think they're kind of cute, and you can just kind of play with a couple of colors and have a really interesting quilt top. So you're going to be cutting 2-inch strips. So this is cut 2 inches wide. And I just went into my fat quarters or yardage that I had, and I cut off strips.
Now, are the strips and the blocks both made with 2-inch strips, or do you use a different size for the sashing? Because I'm looking at this one.
This one has a narrower sashing. This one has a wider sashing. This one has 2-inch cut sashing. This one has 1.5-inch cut sashing.
Okay.
So they do look a little bit different.
Oh my God, do you know that you have moose and flamingos together?
Yes.
Oh my word.
Maybe the flamingos are migrating or something.
They're migrating over top of the moose. Yeah. That's what's happening. Okay.
There might be a good reason there.
There you go.
So we need 2-inch wide strips, and for the left-hand side of the, let me get one where it really shows. For this left-hand side of the heart, you need at least 10.5 inches of fabric. And for the right-hand side of the heart, you need at least 15 inches. Okay. In the instructions, I say plus, because it does give you a little bit more wiggle room if you have a little bit extra on the end when you're cutting these into pieces.
Okay.
So you're going to be, of your shorter piece, you need a 2-inch square, and this just has an A on it because that's in the instructions, the A fabric, the B fabric. You need a 3.5-inch piece, and you need a 5-inch piece. So that's your 10.5 inches. So 2, 3.5, 5. The other side of the heart, you're going to start with the 3.5. You don't need a 2-inch one. You need a 5-inch one, and you need a 6.5-inch one, because our finished block is 6 inches. So this very last strip that we're putting on here on the very end here is the 6.5 inch strip.
Yeah.
And you just need one little piece of background, one 2-inch square, because all of the other background is the sashing parts. So it's only used in the very little corner of the block.
Okay, and I see you've done the same thing on your sashing that you've done before that I thought was so clever, where instead of trying to line them up, she cuts a square to go there, put the
Yes.
square in, and Bob's your uncle. It works.
Yes, I love to use cornerstones even when I'm doing these long strips because it just keeps everything in the right position.
Yeah.
And I don't get things that look a little bit skewed because you're pulling more on one side than the other or whatever. Or even if you're trying to match these guys up, you know, you don't have to make any registration marks. You just, you've got that intersection to match.
Clever.
So, and then you need your one piece of background. So you do kind of need to pick your background first because this one I picked a light blue. I thought I could put quite a bit of scrappy stuff in that. This one is maybe a little bit light. When you're up close, it looks okay. So I could use quite a few
That's pretty.
different ones there. The red and pink quilt, I have used a white background. I wanted it to be a little bit more formal, and I think having the white with the red and pink, plus, oh dear, we thought this would last.
Yep.
Little bit more formal, and I think also making the sashing a little wider just makes it a little bit crisp.
Okay.
I like both of them. It's just playing a little bit with the different ones. So the block is very easy to sew. You're going to start with your background piece, and you're going to sew this little, and you're going to sew these two together right there. Press towards your scrap. This is all in the instructions. So you're going to press towards your scrap. Then you're going to take your other color and you're going to add that one there. And again, you're going to press towards the scrap. And then you're going to take your A color and you're going to add it here. Again, press towards the scrap. And you just keep building this little block until you've got 3 on this side and 3 on this side.
Okay.
And if we put this on point, we actually will see our little heart. I tried to sew it the other way for you, but. So a really easy constructed block, and you end up with the block like that. So you have your little zigzag in the center. One fabric is all on the right hand side, the other fabric's on the left hand side, and your little background, whatever color it is at the top.
Okay.
We have all our blocks made, and I actually had some rejects. I made another sample with orange as the background, and these were some of my rejects. I just felt there wasn't enough definition in them. You can hardly see this. I matched it too closely.
Yeah.
And this one was actually way too light compared to the other blocks that I made, so I didn't use it.
Yeah.
So sometimes, you know, this quilt has 21 hearts in it. This one's got 39.
Okay.
So, you know, you might have a few rejects, but it doesn't take a lot of fabric to make another heart, so just go for it. When I was cutting these strips that I needed for my quilt, I had pieces that were left over. You know, I had a piece that was maybe 15 inches and I only used 10.5, so I've got this piece left over. So I thought for this quilt, I would use all of these pieces that I had left over. Well, not all of them, I still have pieces left over. And put them into a border around the outside of the hearts.
I like that a lot.
And I don't know if you really noticed, but I've got pink across the top and the left-hand side, and then I've got red.
Oh, the darker down.
Darker on this and the bottom, because I've got all my darks on this side and my light ones on that side. So I kind of did the same thing with the hearts.
Yeah.
On this one, I paid no attention to where the light or the dark was. I was just trying to get a couple of fabrics that kind of read the same. So if you step back from it, you can really see that sort of orangey browny heart or that burgundy heart, even though this is all stripes and this has got horses on it. So This one, completely scrappy, no attention to wear anything. This one, I definitely planned, cut all of my reds from the 15-inch strip and all of my pinks from the 10.5-inch strip. Okay, so we
And then you used,
need to put the sashing in.
okay, so that's all of this.
Yes. So when I do sashing for this kind of a quilt, I need to put pieces in between my blocks. So if you have a row that has more than one, there's no sashing on the outside of this one. You're going to put those pieces in between. So wherever you need to put two blocks together, you're going to put a piece of sashing.
Okay.
So that's the same there. And then you need to construct your rows to actually put the rows together. So I added sashing to the bottom of this row, and then I made a sashing row here, which was a 6.5-inch piece, a 2-inch piece, it's a 2-inch square, 6.5 to, so we ended up with a row that will fit on the bottom of this. So we're not paying attention to these guys out here. We're not going to add anything to the heart if it's on the outside of the quilt.
Okay.
So none of those ones have sashing. So the same thing here, I needed to make a long row that would fit on the bottom of that row of hearts. This one, because it's the corners, I didn't need sashing on the outside. And what I do here is, we're a little bit cramped in here.
Yes.
So I added sashing to this one and also to the one in the bottom here. So both of those got one piece. This is the one with 3, this is the one with 3. And then this is one with 5, this is one with 5, and we don't have to add anything to the middle one because there's already sashing there and there's already sashing there. So this one just fits in between perfectly. To cut these setting triangles, so these ones on the outside are called setting triangles, and they are cut from a square that you actually cut twice diagonally so that you have the straight or the cross grain on the outside and the bias edges are in the inside, so your borders stay nice and straight.
Okay.
These, for me, I cut these about 10.25 inches. It's in the instructions. Maybe it was 13.5, and these were smaller. I think these are smaller. Did I say 13.5? It's under sashing.
Yes.
I always overcut a little bit. So this handy book, Quilt Math, will actually tell you if your blocks are 6 inches, you need a certain size of setting triangle.
Yeah, you've got 13. It says for measure your background fabric. For the red quilt, I cut 3 squares, 13.5 inches.
Right, it was 13.5.
Yeah.
So I'm able to float quite a bit here when you put those in. So you're going to attach these to your rows of hearts. So this triangle here was attached to this unit.
Yeah.
On both sides. So we have one on each end. Same thing here, one on each end. And so you're going to do that for all of the rows. So you need to add your triangles to the row, and then you're going to sew your rows together.
Okay.
Because then those are complete.
And
rows.
which way are you pressing that, Paulette?
I'm pressing this towards the sashing.
Okay.
This is pressed towards sashing. This is pressed towards sashing. These are actually pressed towards the heart.
Okay.
When you add these outside triangles, it's pressed towards the heart. Because I have a seam here that's going this direction.
Okay.
Towards the sashing. So those triangles there have to be pressed towards the heart. And it's not too hard. There's only 2 intersections here, and there's straight intersections, so it lays quite flat.
Yeah.
Quite nice and flat. So I'm able to float this quite a bit, and I actually like that look as opposed to trying to match my points
Right to
up
the,
here.
yeah.
I think you still see and appreciate the design.
Yeah.
And then you can add whatever borders you like. So for this one, I made the checkerboard. And of course, the math doesn't work out to the size of the quilt with having these an even size, because you might not be able to float as much as I did here. You might have a little bit less. So what I did was I made the checkerboard, or the, you know, checkerboard sort of strip, and then I centered this white in the center of the quilt, and they went out as far as I could, and I needed like almost a half an inch there and there. But I think when you look at the quilt, do you notice that
No.
those don't meet?
Yeah.
No. And so the same thing with the top and the bottom. I had to make these ones a bit longer because I needed my little half an inch here plus the corner.
Yeah.
So I did that. That's how I made it fit without much fiddling around. And then I did add a nice little 3-inch border on this one to just kind of contain the design. In this one, I used the same fabric all the way around, different fabric than anything else, and then another border to kind of bring out the background color again. So,
Okay.
easy little heart block, and happy Valentine's Day.
There you go. Thank you so much, Paulette. Good video. Really like that. I'm not a big one for hearts, and I'm not a big one for Valentine's Day projects because, I mean, what do you do with it, right? But this one, yeah, I could see making that one. That's a good one.
Just kind of cute
Yeah.
to use up a
Yeah.
few of your little strips.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so thanks very much, and we'll see you next time. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everybody. Bye-bye.